Okay, I'm recording this then.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So, well, I suppose welcome to the first Drum Education Live podcast.
Yeah.
So, I guess because Ciara's had so much struggle, do you want to go first?
Yeah, she goes first. Ladies
you go first. Show us what you got.
Oh God.
I'm gonna face the screen now. I want to see everything and then ask very difficult questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. Right. Well, I was going to do a little exercise inspired by Benny Graham.
Okay.
There she goes, showing off.
No. So the theory is that instead of hearing the click only on the quarter notes on 1, 2, 3, 4, that you hear it on every 16th note. So you move it throughout the exercise and you get used to hearing the click, not just on the downbeat. Did you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I did is I came up with a little sticking. So it would work as a little exercise. So the sticking is you're going to do 3 paradiddles, and then you're going to do a like group of 3. So for example, I do paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle. So I go left, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start with the other hand.
Yep.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yes.
So now I just need to play my click. So that is on my phone.
Can you step your hi-hat?
Oh, I can't do that, Mark.
Oh, okay. Sorry. First awkward question. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to get a metronome up here. And
You should find one on Google.
yeah. Meter on my...
Product placement endorsement. 10.
Well, we have to try, you know.
Google.
We have to try it.
Yeah, so why don't you guys just try it a minute, and I'm going to get the click up.
So what's What's the sticking again?
So it's 3 paradiddles.
Yeah, and then a 3.
A 3.
Okay.
And you play them as 16th notes.
Yeah. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1.
That's it.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah.
You got it.
Okay, I didn't get it. Try.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. Oh, fuck it. Ah! Here we go. Ah!
Really do.
No, don't pick an exercise that's too hard.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Can we try it together?
Stage fright. Stage fright.
Let's try it together.
Oh, I
Yeah?
suffer with terrible stage fright.
That's all right.
Are we doing it together?
I'm not.
I'll try with you.
2, 3, and.
I think there's a problem of latency.
Yeah, maybe.
I actually did it that time.
Try it through. I'll have a look.
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's
Yeah.
try it together again.
Okay, ready?
1, 2.
Look, Mark. I don't think it's going to work because of the latency that you hear the metronome.
Probably not.
Yeah, unless you have a metronome there and you want to do it by yourself later, but otherwise
Yeah,
not going to work.
later then, I think. Otherwise, I'll just be going out of time. It'll be horribly off-putting.
You're gonna be already 1/16th note off.
Placing, yeah. So basically, the accents are like when you do the exercise, the accents are moving backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll do it one more time. I'll try and do it again.
Cool. Okay.
Forgive the mistakes, people. We're not perfect. Here we go. Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Boom.
Ah, excellent. So, have you? What are your plans with that exercise?
Just for you to enjoy it, and
You're gonna like make
To,
groups out of it, or for fills, or what do you think?
yeah, you could definitely do that. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing it with a band, but
Oh, I would in a blues band. Do that in a blues band, please.
well, Felipe, you can try it at your next jam.
I'm gonna be thrown off stage.
Yeah. No, you know what? For me, it was just a really fun exercise to try because you can try the whole thing where you're just playing a groove, and then you move the click in your head, you know. But then you've got the click on the E, and then you've got the click on the and then you've got the click on the
Yeah.
I will not be demonstrating that.
No.
That's to Benny Greb, who's the master. But I don't know, he inspired me to think of, well, how can I apply this to a practice pad and do this in the evening, you know? Like watching TV and try and just develop my inner clock a bit better.
Yeah.
Because I know for me sometimes, I am playing to a click a lot, but how good is my timing, you know? If someone was to take the click out, not sure. So I really enjoyed that exercise just to try and get used to the click being in a different place.
Yeah.
Or hear an accent in a different place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
You can use that. Have that for free.
Thanks.
Yeah, I guess you could use the sticking certainly for fills. Paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle. 1, 2, 3. Easy.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my little pad exercise for you. You can go next if you like.
So, do you want to go next, Felipe? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go next.
Cool. Okay.
So I'm going to show a very simple drum beat. No, just kidding. Let me get the stick back. I just want to make sure that you understand that the camera adds 10 kilos, right? I'm not this fat, and I have 5 cameras. That's the reason. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, my whole thing about life at the moment is try not to get bored with things like stick control, for example, you know. So what I've been doing for a long time was trying to apply the stick control exercises to ostinatos. And sorry about that, but being from Brazil, it's almost inevitable, but trying to put that over the samba ostinato. So after people practice stick control as it is in the book, I would suggest take stick control to the drum kit. And the first thing to do that, doing the stick control of the drum kit, would be playing the samba pattern with your feet and just going over the exercises in 16th notes. Exercise number 3. Then exercise 5. I'm just showing. This doesn't mean you have to skip exercises. I'm just going through 1, 3, and 5.
Yeah.
These are the ones I actually practiced. Then after you do that, the whole book, preferably with the samba pattern, then there's the bayonne pattern. Same thing, exercise 1. Whoops, my own. Exercise 3. Exercise 5. And you can even, for example, move one of your hands to one of the hi-hat or the cymbal and kind of create some sort of groove. Then I'm looking at the screen, but I need to look at the camera. Then the other thing is that I fell in love with many years ago when I saw a video with Terry Bozzio is the waltz pattern. And so it's a good thing because you can think of the waltz pattern as eighth note instead of a 3/4 pattern, as you can think of it as eighth note triplets, and then play stick control in eighth note triplets. Exercise 1. Exercise 3. Exercise 4.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
And then there's a little thing you can do, which is, since you're playing eighth note triplets with your feet, why not play 16th notes with your hands? So you're going to play the exercises as they're written. So
Yeah.
we were using an extra note on the triplet to resolve the exercise. Now the exercise is going to resolve within itself. Let's see if I can pull that off.
Okay.
Exercise 3.
Yeah.
Exercise 5.
It's really nice. Yeah. Well done. It sounds much more musical than you'd expect.
It
if that makes
does.
sense.
Well, the truth is, because in one thing I've learned, because in Brazil nobody talks about the theory of samba. Because samba is what people play, right?
Yeah.
Remember, look at the camera, not at the screen. So the theory of Brazilian rhythms is that you have 3s and 2s happening at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, when you listen to the schools of samba, they're playing. First of all, that's why it's not a straight 16th note. It's not. It's and if you listen to the, let's call them drum fills in the schools of samba, they're in triplets. So they're going. So it's 2s and 3s happening at the same time. And then again, look at the camera, man. So and then when you do the triplet on the feet and the 16th note on the hand, sounds a lot more musical than you would expect.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if 5s over 3s would sound musical. So you guys be the judge. So I'll try to pull off the 5 on top of 3. You know?
What about if you put some accents in there?
Yeah.
Just to make it harder.
Good, but I'm going to put the accent. I'm going to put the accent on the first note because I haven't practiced this. That's fine. Sorry.
Okay.
Look at the camera, man. All right, let's start again. if you want, you can practice going from quarter notes to all the way to 32nd notes on the triplet thing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Not at the end. The end wasn't very nice.
You had proper drummer face there at the end as well.
Yeah, well, I had to compensate somewhere.
Yeah, no, that's really nice.
Cool. That's it.
That's fantastic. Really good. You got any awkward questions for him, Ciara?
Where should you be looking when you're doing a video?
Yeah, at the camera, I hear. Okay, shall I show you mine then?
Yeah, your turn now.
So,
Just give me 1 sec. One sec.
have you got coffee there?
Yeah.
Are you going to the toilet?
Oh no, she's just leaving now.
Yeah, she said, that's it.
So when you're...
She's gonna show off now because if she's going to the toilet, it's because she has toilet paper.
Oh, should have put it back as currency. Just one thing on when you're on the ostinatos.
Okay.
When you're like playing the 4/3 or the 5/3, how are you timing it? Are you do you sit and work it out on paper, or do you just kind of feel where the downbeat is?
Well, nowadays, because I've been doing this for some time, yeah. I kind of know where he goes.
Sure.
But the way I practiced it is, first I got the 16th, the 8th note triplet going with my feet, and I tried to count on top of that. So I tried to count the 16th note on top of the 8th note triplet, but in the beginning, just playing the ostinato and counting. Then later, when the counting was comfortable, adding the hands.
Yeah.
So that's how I got to this, to now know it kind of, I know when it's wrong, when it's not.
Yeah. So is that how you get a beginner to do it, or not beginner, somebody who'd never done that sort of thing before?
Yeah. First thing is, one thing that I was thinking about doing today, but I decided to show off.
It was worth it.
It was, I think counting is very underestimated.
Yeah.
You know, people don't count. One thing that when I was at MI, they made us do is, even if you think you're looking completely stupid, count out loud. Whatever you're playing, count out loud, you know. And don't touch your face during these times. But anyway, so so count out loud. So I've learned to count and play at the same time. And for example, my students, they really struggle because in the beginning you kind of can make it not counting because it's simple.
Yeah.
But the moment things start getting more complicated, and then you're gonna add counting to it, you make your life like misery, total misery. So my suggestion to everyone is, even from the first lesson that you're only counting, in the case of my students, only counting quarter notes, get used to put your voice on what you're playing, because then when you need to more complicated stuff, it's just like having another limb.
Cool.
Yeah, totally agree. Mark, you were teaching me that from day one.
Yeah,
really.
Probably shouting at you about it as well.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. I teach that to my students from day one, but they never do it.
No, well, it's because it's hard.
It is so important to do it.
I think if you can get them to get the hard stuff out of the way now, because later on it'll make life easy. You can do stuff like Felipe's just doing in your displacement thing as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, speaking of that, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit there, because I was going to do a paradiddle displacement exercise. So I'll still do it. But I'm doing.
Who stole your thunder, Kira or me?
Kira.
Okay, so
Well, I
I'm
think
good
you
then.
Well,
Thank you.
Because I can't.
It took me about 10 attempts to
I
do
can't
it.
play
so-
5/3. So
Well, apparently me neither.
so what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of exercises, and they're similar to what Kira's done. I'll start with, so Colin Morway showed me this years and years ago, and it was kind of my first introduction to displacement. And it's really simple. It's 2 paradiddles and a paradiddle diddle. It goes from the downbeat to the and. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
I like that.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That kind of thing.
Can you put the hi-hat? Yeah.
So one, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That kind of thing. So it kind of gets you used to hearing those offbeat accents. So when I practice this stuff, I always keep the hi-hat on the 1, 2, 3, 4 because I can't track it otherwise. So the way I approach it slightly differently is I learn to count it and then I sing the accent. So da 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 like that. And I find that it stops me thinking about the notes in between, where you get the speed. So all I'm hearing is da 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 da. Do you want to try it?
What is it? 2 paradiddles and a what?
Paradiddles and a paradiddle diddle. There you go. And just sing the accents. It's in, I think it's in 7/8.
Oh.
I think it ends up in 7/8.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I like that.
If you put it, I think, on the, see if this works on the hi-hat, because you get some quite nice kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. A bit messy on the counting there, but you get some quite nice little hi-hat.
Yeah.
And also, it's when I teach this, I don't tell people it's an odd time. So they do exactly what you did there and go, oh yeah, no, that's in 7.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you played that on the hi-hat, I was hearing 7 then.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, so I think when you split it up, you sort of get that, you kind of get more of the feel of the 7. And maybe next time we do this, I'll set it up by the kit. And what I tend to do is, to begin with, just play the bass drum under those hi-hat accents. So you get boom, da, boom, boom, da, boom, boom, da, boom. And you can play around with kind of you can move the hands around, or like a that kind of thing.
That's really cool.
So that's why I have 2 hi-hats, because you get gives you like a 3D sound with it. So that was kind of the first thing, and then the second thing was, it's a similar idea to Kira's, but I use 5s with the paradiddles. So now I've got to try and remember. I'll play the sequence through for you, because it's like 16 bars, and it shifts the accent every single time. So you start off with a paradiddle, and at the end you play a 5, so you get this. Hang on.
Okay.
it's going to stop us in a minute. Oh, unlimited meeting for free. Oh, look at that. One-time offer. All right. I'm going to have to start paying for this fairly soon because it's limits.
Not today.
So no, it's given us free extension for today. So where was I?
Okay,
So, yeah.
let me ask you one thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one thing about the 5. When you mean at the end you play a 5, you mean just 5/16 notes hand to hand, like right, left, right, left, right?
No, I played paradiddle tap. So
okay.
So
okay, all right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So to be honest, with this sequence, I'll have to write it down and kind of put it in the group or something because I just tend to kind of play around it.
You can put this. You can write it down and put it on the video because you're going to edit anyway.
That is true. I will do that.
And this is not going. This is not going live into the group, so you can.
No, I'll do that. So I think that it's as far as it changes on each bar, but basically the idea is if you drop a 5 in, it displaces everything forwards by 1 note.
Yeah.
So 1, and then you're on the E. Do it again, and
yeah.
And you just get back to it. So you can, and what I like about it is if you combine it with the 3s that Ciara was doing, you can move the notes up and down. So with just 3 stickings, 3, 4, 5, you get stuff like that. It's very, very kind of easy to shift it backwards and forwards. So yeah, that's kind of the overly complicated stuff that I like to work on. But I find it's a really easy way. Displacement I've always found incredibly difficult, and it's a really easy way to do it because you've got the stickings in between kind of hold everything together. So, yeah.
But it should be done slow, right? In the beginning.
Yes, I should say that. Yeah, very, very slow. And again, I try and so when I'm doing the sequence with the displacement, I sing the accent. So da 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 da. So then da 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 da.
Yeah.
And again, it stops me thinking about the notes in the middle.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier. I try and, Felipe, bang on. The slower I can do it, the better. I probably need to spend more time counting quarter notes, to be honest, actually, because I've suddenly realised I don't do that as much as I should do. But so I'm just not going to. But I find that the singing is really helpful because I don't think about the notes in between. And then displacement isn't displacement anymore. You're just singing a melody on an offbeat, if that makes sense.
Totally.
My question is, do you jump straight into the counting, into the singing, the accents, or you do something in between? So when you get to the accent, you just say da, or you just go like straight into the da, 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 da.
Well, when I'm teaching it, or
when you're practicing it, when you first practice it. Let me try to make that question a little bit better.
Okay.
For example, yesterday I was trying to make a student to play what was it? Paradiddles in 8th note triplets, right?
Yeah.
And the sticking he was getting all right, but the accents wasn't very spot on. So what I started telling him to do was to either count the triplet or to say which hand he was playing, but accent the counting, like 1 tita, 2 tita, 3 tita, 4 tita, something like that.
I mean, if I'm teaching it, that's pretty much what I do.
Okay.
I think with the I try and get people to sing what they're doing, particularly with rudiments like as early as I can. Most of the difficulty is getting them over the fear of screwing it up, because obviously it's quite difficult. But yeah, I mean, pretty much like that's what I do. I get them to count it or vocalize it somehow and then emphasize it.
Okay, cool.
But what I don't do is tell them that they're playing a polyrhythm or something, because then they have a panic attack.
But that the thing is, if we teach people to play the drums like people are taught to speak a language,
yeah,
that makes a lot more sense, because think of a baby learning to speak their own language, right?
Yeah.
Nobody, the moment they say da-da, nobody's going to say, okay, sit down, let me explain to you how grammar works. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah, as long as the phrase is correct. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is if the vocalizing kind of takes away the analysis, sort of stops them sitting. Because I don't know whether you guys find this when you're teaching, but especially the older students, they'll sit and they try and see, they're trying to work it out.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You just got to sort of play it and hear it.
Yeah.
And then, get it wrong a lot, basically.
Well, but as a teacher, I used to say, if you need to use any sense that's not hearing to understand music, something's wrong.
Ah. That's where I'm going wrong.
I know.
I'm going to quit.
Where are you going, Ciara?
No, my battery is dying. I'm full of technical woes today.
Well, I think that's quite a good place to end the first
yeah, it is.
Podcast. That was really fun, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good.
Guys.
Yay!
Let's do another one in maybe next week and just keep it going. So more tricky exercises and more ostinatos.
I'll make sure
I'll have to practice now.
Excellent. Cool, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.